Hi everyone, welcome to another episode. Welcome to my channel. Today we will talk about how regrets can lead to better decision making and how to make every decision right without overthinking. And it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today, but I wanted to talk about this because I've seen that so many people are being stuck in their lives in specific situations. And sometimes those situations, they are not the worst that could be out there, but also not the situation that people wished for, because maybe they have made certain decisions and now they feel obliged to follow them through. And what follows are regrets. And sometimes regrets, they are taking place way too late. And one day you're gonna become old and there's not much time left anymore to make it right. So what I did, I went to the World Wide Web, I made some research, and I stumbled upon this one thing that older people mostly regret about. And it is that many believe that they never had been brave enough to make certain decisions. And this is still what haunts them up until today. The sad truth is that many say that their families, their environments, and the conditions, it just makes it harder for them to make certain decisions and choose the options they never wanted. So, but what if you did something wrong? What if you regret something? Imagine you did something horrible. Maybe you hurt someone, maybe you put yourself in a situation that doesn't bring you further. A sign of goodness for a human is regret. When you regret what you did, it shows that you are connected to your virtues. It shows that you are in a good relationship to yourself, to the universe, to God, and your bad deed should make you regret it. If you don't, then there is no regret factor. If you are not connected to your surroundings, to your environment, to God, to the universe, to whatever is out there, then there is no regret factor. So in short, it is a blessing to regret. People do many bad deeds and then they regret it, which leads them to the thoughts of, I shouldn't have done this. And this is a very good sign. This is a comforting sign in the midst of a crisis. I want you to make the best out of every situation. You know, sometimes we are making a decision and then we think this is the best decision we could have possibly made for ourselves. But then at the end, we realize that those things that we have planned for ourselves, it didn't turn out as we wanted them to be. And sometimes those things, they are turning out to be better. So what happened to me is that quite some time ago when I was in Bali, right after I graduated from university, I wanted so badly to stay there. So I applied to this university to teach marketing. While they already confirmed that I could start the job, I was in Europe to see my family. I was in Europe to see my friends. And I had the intention to go back there and stay there long term. But what happened was that they canceled me 1 week before I was supposed to head back. So I was like, okay, what now? What's next? Obviously, I was super devastated. I called my best friend and my best friend told me, okay, you know what, come stay with me. And so I stayed with her in this country. I lived with her. I started to find a job. And you know, just a few months later, literally, COVID just hit. Every border was closed. And I found a job that I was happy with that at the time. And I was beyond happy not to be separated from my family and friends. Like, I was so blessed that I am not separated from them because it was a time of a lot of uncertainty. And ultimately, I knew that whatever I was deciding for, God knew what was better for me. I get the chance to be close to the people I love. I was guided to find my purpose elsewhere, not in the place where I thought that I wanted to stay. And from there on, you know, one things lead to another. Well, now I'm here talking to you guys. But what I'm saying is that imagine you are stranded in this middle of the desert and you get a map with a compass. So how do you use this map to guide you? How do you use this compass? You need to use your critical thinking, use your brain. And I'm not saying that you don't use your brain, but I just want to make clear that you need to make the best out of every situation you are in, no matter how hard it is, no matter how you feel in that situation. But the thing is that, you know, sometimes we let life happen and just believe that guidance will come and save us without putting much effort in. Just because we believe, I don't know, in faith, we believe in destiny. Maybe people, they just manifest, they just journal, or they just, they just leave it to praying. I'm not saying praying is not good. You should pray, you should do all of those things, but you need to use your critical thinking. You need to put things into action, okay? And we need to use our brains and make the best out of every situation we are in. And to strive for that, there is a certain direction you need to take. A certain direction you want to take, and you need to be in this specific angle to find your best self. But it takes a specific path for you to figure out what the best self is. And this is like a lifelong journey. So what you define yourself, for example, as now, as the best version of yourself for the future, might change in the future. And then maybe you will find another best version of yourself. Sometimes we also feel anxiety, or maybe we feel paralyzed to make the right decisions. And it's not that easy. You know what scientists are saying? Humans, those who are without a healthy frontal lobe, which is like the front part of our brains, they are like canaries. They are trapped in this eternal present, and they are unable to consider themselves like extended existence throughout time. So what it means is that they cannot see themselves in their future. There is no future me. And you need to understand that the frontal lobe is the youngest part of our brain. It facilitates all long-term planning. So what you do today is what you will harvest tomorrow, right? And the long-term plans are those which require our intention in form of choosing decisions. Now, your future self is like this ungrateful child. It is insanely ungrateful. It doesn't matter how much you struggle to make the best possible decisions for the future you, it never will be enough. Remember that. Because whatever you consider the best for your future self today, in a few years, you will see that it is not the best decision you made. And maybe you will even regret those decisions. And that is good. It means you grew. You have a broader perspective than you did back then. And it also means that you are less wrong than you were a few years ago. So what I'm saying is, choose the best option your mind can conceive today. But don't overthink, because chances are that your future self knows it better anyway. So you can make one bad choice. And it's okay. It won't take you completely out of the path, but you are making good choices as a whole and retrospective in a more general sense. So remember that the options you had back then are not just nonsense. They serve a purpose. That's why regrets, they bring us further, and they having a purpose in our lives. Everything we feel has a purpose. Be it regret, be it anger, be it sadness, it all has a purpose if you just see it from the right angle. Like, for example, I always thought I needed to show my value by proving I'm a good student when I was younger, by having that corporate role and doing what others are doing. And how devastated was I when I just quit the job. But then again, it just landed me where I am right now here talking to you with my purpose. And the thing is that despite all the chaos, you make the right choices over and over, because there are so many choices. And it is all about the accumulation that matters the most. So in my religion, we keep on asking God to guide us, to make the right choice every single time. And it is a big deal. It is a big deal to make the right choice every single time, because it is very exhausting. Because you have to constantly be aware of every little thing that you are doing. So what it does is that in the long term, it is not a choice anymore. But what you do is that you make out of those micro choices, those micro habits, a lifestyle, because you don't pick every single time. It's too much for the brain, because at some point you go into autopilot. So instead of picking all the time, you make the decisions your lifestyle. It's about going on autopilot with the fundamentals that you choose to fill your day with. Know also that present tragedies can turn into future successes. Instead of sitting around blaming yourself for something, say to yourself, that was the old version of me. The software I had then was different, and I was not capable as I am today, and I am a different person today. I am wiser, I have more perspective, I have more reference point, more time. This is what makes changes possible right away, okay? Because remember, you are never being the person you are today. So use your frontal lobe, use that critical thinking. Use that long-term planning part of your brain. Use all of this so you can work on the best future you can conceive for today. And don't overestimate the decision's effects on your long-term life. Don't overload your mind with worries. Don't overload your options. Use what is best, whatever information you have now. Make a choice based only on that, because that is all you know, that is all you can do. So how to make uncomfortable decisions? Do I make those decisions with my heart? Do I make those decisions with my head? Here's the thing. You can use your brain for math. You can use your brain to decide on understanding regulations, on reading those fine prints, and to be logic throughout the day about those micro habits, about those micro tasks. But when it comes to the feel of the decision, you want to go inward. Check it against your heart and check it against your soul. Does the decision you are about to make expand you? Does it expand your future? Does it expand the possibilities of your life? If the answer is yes, then the decision is yes. The decision is yes, no matter how terrifying it is right now. If you conversely look at the choice you have to make and the decision will shrink you, maybe the decision will silence you, it will inhibit you, then the answer is no, no matter how easy and no matter how safe the decision is. The answer is simply no. Understand this. The short-term impact of making an expansive decision, a decision that is based on your heart, that is based on your soul, sometimes it is terrifying. Because sometimes it is moving, changing a job. Sometimes it ends a relationship. And sometimes it means that you need to have a very difficult situation, a very difficult conversation, or start something completely new. And these things are always uncomfortable. So you need to embrace the impact. Make the decision anyway, because of its long-term impact of making a decision from your heart and soul. That is where the best life comes from, okay? Because you are living what is true for you, not what is safe in the moment. What is true for you and what you believe is the best for you. And remember, when you are choosing what is true for you, and you're choosing the what in your life, the how will always come. It will come because you will be guided with the necessary tools. It will come to you. So remember your priorities. Commit to the essentials and leave out the rest. Choose well what you want to spend your thoughts and your energy on. Redirect your energy on what's important. When you find the main problems you wish to solve, you don't know how to constructively think about them, then break those problems down. Break them down to simpler tasks, into the top-down thinking method. When you have to break those goals down into smaller and more achievable steps, how can you simplify things in your life? Choose no more than 3 tasks each day. And if one task is too complex to accomplish, break it down to even smaller tasks. So have this, open approach. Instead of following this strict rule of having a schedule, just have an open approach. And just do what you can do and bring your best self every day to do what you're meant to do to get closer where you want to be. Just simply prioritize. And if you know your priorities and how much time and energy you have available, it shouldn't be challenging. Being in the moment and focusing on the most important task according to your priority. Because the thing is that being in the moment and focusing on a task, focusing on the most important things according to your priorities is much more important than completing everything on the schedule. That is way too much for you. So ask yourself 4 questions when you are heading to your goals. When you are making the decision, will this have an impact that will last beyond this week? oh, that will last beyond this month? How will it change my career? Will it change my relationship and my life? How will this further a long-term goal of mine? Is that goal really important? You know, your future self may or may not like your choices today, but your present heart will be at peace. And it is about you moving on, making those decisions to find that peace instead of being paralyzed by them. That is the only thing you aim to control. This is how you can clear your mind. This is how you can clear worries about the future. And this is how you can be at peace with yourself. As Theodore Roosevelt said, do what you can with what you have where you are. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you next time. I hope you have learned something new. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I will get back to you. Until next time.